We anticipate this one's going to be a bit different.
Snow is expected to impact travel tomorrow in southern Wisconsin. We'll hear how road crews are preparing for all of this bad weather.
He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
What it comes down to is that he did not stop.
Providing opening remarks, the latest details in the trial against the man who allegedly hit and killed a woman on the Beltline. Plus, helping Baraboo residents get around, how SSM Health is helping to keep a vital transportation service open. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson. Eric Franke is off tonight. We begin with a look at your first warm weather forecast. Alert day conditions are on the way, and more than a dozen school districts have already closed for tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us from the weather patio out there now. And when are we expecting that snow to begin?
Great question, Sarah. By mid-morning hours tomorrow, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And at this time tomorrow night, we're really going to start to see the peak of this weather event with impacts to the evening commute. So I want to show this graphic first. Tomorrow night, if you have any travel plans, we're looking at snow-covered roads, slick travel. 3 to 6 inches of snow are expected across all of southern Wisconsin, and that evening commute will be the commute that's impacted the greatest from this weather event. And we have more alert day conditions in the forecast. Widespread 3 to 6 inches are expected across all of southern Wisconsin, although areas, if you have traveled to the east towards Milwaukee, could pick up 6, 7, 8, 9 inches because of the lake effect impact, and far southwestern Wisconsin could also see amounts upwards of 6 inches, maybe a 7 isolated inch amount over portions of Grant County. They are under a winter storm warning till 3 a.m. on Thursday. The rest of southern Wisconsin, winter weather advisory until 3 a.m., or I should say the rest of the WISC viewing area. Then that winter storm warning also over towards the Milwaukee metropolitan area until 3 o'clock on Thursday morning. Here's the timeline. Light snow begins, like I was just saying, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Increases in intensity during the early afternoon hours. We see the heaviest rates during the afternoon hours through that evening impact, and then conditions will eventually improve as we go into Thursday. Quick flash into tonight here. Temperatures getting down to 11 with overnight lows of 8. Snow won't begin until tomorrow. Coming up in Maine weather, though, we've got another snowmaker in the forecast. The next set of alert day conditions, I will give you a glimpse in Maine weather in a few minutes.
Sounds great, Alex. And finally, that snow is here. As Alex mentioned, we should expect a good amount of snow to fall tomorrow, creating issues for drivers. Our Kyle Pozorski shares how Dane County's road crews are preparing.
Dane County leaders are looking to reassure the public that they're ready for this first major snowfall of the season.
We anticipate this one's going to be a bit different.
Speaking in front of a pair of snowplows, County Executive Melissa Agar laying out the plan to keep the roadways clear and public safe. Come Wednesday, the Department of Transportation will deploy 62 snowplows across the county's more than 4,200 miles of highway. Agard saying the road crews are well prepared for whatever amount of snow comes down.
Our crews have been working diligently to monitor the forecast, and they are ready to begin clearing the roads as soon as the snow starts falling.
The Director of Emergency Management, Charles Tubbs, further emphasizing the need for drivers to prepare if they become stranded by making an emergency road kit. Supplies should include warm clothing, phone chargers, snacks, and drinking water.
If you become stranded, make sure you stay with your vehicle.
Road crews are expected to work through the end of this storm and likely for hours after it concludes. Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Kyle. The County Highway and Transportation Department is also asking everyone to please slow down this time and allow room for the crews to work. And now to the southern part of the state of our viewing area. In Rock County, people in Beloit won't be able to park their cars on city streets from 9 o'clock tomorrow morning through 4 o'clock Thursday afternoon. Both Beloit and Janesville have declared a weather emergency right now. Our Ellie LaLiberte shows us how the communities are getting ready.
The city of Beloit is already preparing for that winter storm, with trucks loaded up with salt and crews ready to hit the road.
We are prepared for the duration of the winter. Our team here will plan ahead in advance, determine staffing levels, making sure that our trucks are filled with salt and all the equipment that they need to adequately address a snowstorm like this.
Beloit has roughly 25 pieces of equipment clearing streets and alleys and 16 clearing city parking lots and sidewalks.
It's important that we keep the main roads open so that we have clear and safe paths for our motorists to get to work, to school, to the hospital.
And while many of us may be dreading the snowstorm, there's a good population who are excited.
first snowfall, really, of the season. We haven't been outside to play, and so the kids, I know, will be very excited.
Teresa Marshall is the executive director of Janesville Community Daycare.
Well, our snow days, we will make every opportunity to be open just because our families have to go to work. So when the school does call off school, we are open for all the children that are enrolled.
She says every snowstorm is different.
We've had storms that we have a lot of kids coming in and we need all of our staff, and then other storms, families will cancel.
A lot of waiting and seeing, and we'll see what the storm truly ends up being like as it tracks.
Reporting in Rock County, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. The city of Beloit still has 4,000 tons of salt left, which city officials say will be plenty enough to make it through the rest of the winter season. And to stay up to date with the latest on this winter weather, please download our First Warn Weather Forecast app. You can find out how much snow we're expecting and a list of the school districts that have closed for tomorrow. Some have already. You can download this for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. The family of the missing Beaver Dam teenage girl is holding out hope for her return. Sophia Franklin has been missing since February 3rd, and in a post on Facebook, Franklin's family released a statement saying, quote, "There is so much on the horizon for you, Sophie. Hard things, yes, but good things too, and your family is here for all of it. We aren't going anywhere, we just need you to come back," end quote. Now, Franklin is believed to be with Gary Day, this man, the father of her unborn child. The pair have been seen driving in Day's 2014 black Buick LaCrosse and switching between multiple license plates. Last week, the Amber Alert for Franklin was extended into Arkansas as well. A Janesville man has been sentenced for the fatal shooting of his pregnant girlfriend. Logan Barkley was given life in prison in the death of 22-year-old Kirsten Hansen. Hansen was found dead last April along Peace Trail near Afton Road. Barkley is eligible for extended supervision after serving 50 years in prison. Well, the prosecution and defense made their opening statements today in the trial against the man who allegedly hit and killed a woman who was walking in the middle of the Beltline last January. Armand Rahman has more from the Dane County Courthouse.
The two women who were with Jatasia Graham when she was hit in the middle of the Beltline last January, her cousins, were called to the stand Tuesday.
I know it's hard to see, but there's Taja.
And Kiva and Shamika Graham say their cousin was intoxicated and not acting herself when tragedy struck.
Distraught, shocked, sad.
The two cousins, who the court asked not to be filmed or recorded, said they were with 23-year-old Jatasia the whole day. Later, they were taking her back to her father's house in Monona, but in the car, Graham reportedly became more belligerent.
She did not want to be in that car. She wanted to get out. You'll hear that she was scratching them. She was kicking them. She was punching them.
The cousin that said she was driving said at one point she was hit so hard she had to pull over. They were trying to put the child locks on, but Graham got out of the car and started walking in between lanes on the Beltline. That's what a Sun Prairie woman driving by saw too. She called 911.
I was scared. Yeah, I was scared that, one, they were going to get hit or that we were going to hit them. Or someone was gonna, it just was a scary situation to see someone in the road.
Both cousins say after failing to get Graham out of the road, they turned back to the car in an attempt to use it to block traffic. That's when they heard the boom. No one saw a car that looked like it was damaged pull over. Madison police and investigators say they collected parts of the car believed to belong to Jules Tunya-Tommen along the road.
Instead of stopping, he gets off the Fish Hatchery Road exit and continues on and goes home.
Did Jatasia intend to end her life? We'll never know, right? No one can know what was going through her head in those final moments.
Both cousins say Graham was normally a bubbly, caring person. The judge told the defense that regardless, the jury still had to find whether or not Tunya-Tommen knowingly refused to stop.
I'm offended by your argument that the law changes based on what the decedent had in her mind, whether we knew that or not.
Reporting at the Dane County Courthouse, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Armand. Wisconsin's Attorney General Josh Kaul is joining a multi-state lawsuit against Deere & Company. The complaint alleges that for decades, Deere's practices have limited the ability for farmers and independent repair providers to repair equipment. forcing them then to rely on Deere's network of authorized dealers. The lawsuit says this unfair practice has boosted Deere's multi-billion-dollar profits. The lawsuit seeks to give farmers and repair providers access to Deere's Advisor repair tool and any other resources for authorized dealers. Well, a local health care provider is making sure that patients in Baraboo can get around. SSM Health's St. Clair Foundation is making a one-time donation to continue the city's shared ride taxi program. The funds are worth $50,000. And SSM says for many patients in Sauk County, reliable access to transportation is a large barrier to receiving healthy care.
It's become increasingly difficult for us to fund the services that our residents expect and demand from us, and this donation allows us to keep that very important taxi service going. I think it's not an exaggeration to say that without this donation from SSM, we would not be having a taxi service today.
Baraboo's mayor hopes this donation can tide the city over until they can find a long-term funding solution. Well, later on, News 3 Now at 6, Alex tells us about more alert conditions coming our way and all those details. And next, updating safety guidelines, the changes being made to TikTok aimed at protecting teens.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. It looks like we'll see some changes coming for TikTok, this time with safety guidelines for teens. In this Time for Kids report, our Jalen Banks spoke with the head of digital safety at the company on what these new guidelines look like.
TikTok will be around just a little bit longer. This as President Trump postponed the ban of the app in the U.S. for 90 days. But some more changes are headed to the popular video app, this time with safety measures.
TikTok, one of the most popular apps in the U.S., will be adding more safety measures on the app for teens. Similar to recent Meta guidelines, teens will have automatic private accounts and will not be able to receive direct messages. I had the chance to speak with the Director of Digital Safety and Privacy for TikTok on why they're adding these new safety measures.
One of those ways that we do that is allow you to customize your settings so you can set a screen time limit for yourself. We certainly have really important safeguards for teens, but oftentimes adults will ask me, maybe I'm concerned about my usage. And so you can set a screen time limit for yourself.
However, one SSM adolescent psychiatrist says he wonders how impactful this approach will be.
I'm hopeful, but we still haven't seen results from Meta on this data yet on how successful it is to to limit teens' screen use and profile. So I'm not sure how well or effective it's going to be for TikTok.
But TikTok believes impact comes from users having a say in their experience on the app.
We really believe at TikTok that we want you to be in control of your experience. And so part of that is making sure you understand all of the options that are available to you. And that's what this guide does.
For now, reporting in the newsroom, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. TikTok is set to be banned in the United States on April 4th. Well, after the break at 6 now, Alex has the latest, all the updates on the alert conditions headed our way, and an angler's dream catch, the massive fish one woman caught while on opening weekend. Welcome back, everyone. Winter weather advisories in effect for much of southern Wisconsin as alert day conditions are being forecast for tomorrow. And one viewer wants to know.
I'm Ben from Oconomowoc. Hey, Alex, how's the weather?
Hey there, Ben. Nice to meet you. How's the weather in Oconomowoc? I want to call this out here. It's a little bit east of Madison, but if you're heading in that direction, Ben, or if you're driving back to Madison, I would not advise travel tomorrow. Tonight, not too bad in Oconomowoc. Temperatures dipping down to 12 by the time you join us for our 10 o'clock newscast. Clouds will be on the increase ahead of that other weather system. But if you are having plans off towards the east, a little bit more snow from Oconomowoc east towards Milwaukee. So if you're going down 94, they're expecting upwards of 6 to 9 inches of snow, widespread 3 to 6 inches across all of southern Wisconsin. And as we take a peek off here towards the south and towards the west, maybe a 6-inch amount over towards the Platteville area as well. Lesser amounts off towards the north and towards the west, up towards La Crosse, Juneau, and Adams County. You'll also be right on the northern fringe too of where the heavier snow will fall. So areas to the northwest may see considerably less. Now, Sarah was just saying winter weather advisories much of the WISC viewing area. We have winter storm warning in southwestern Wisconsin for Grant County, and we have winter storm warnings off towards the east, towards the Milwaukee metropolitan area. Lake effect snow will be causing higher totals to the east, and the weather system will have just a little bit more strength off towards the south, towards the west, but it still will be an appreciable snow across all of southern Wisconsin. Alert day conditions for widespread 3 to 6 inches. That Wednesday evening commute is what's going to be impacted the most significantly across southern Wisconsin. The morning commute looks fine at this point. As we get to 9 o'clock past the morning commute, snow breaks out across all of southern Wisconsin, staying widespread periods of it again, with the heaviest amounts, let's say, from Viroqua, Richland Center up to the Dells and areas towards the south, towards Madison, Monroe, Janesville, east towards Oconomowoc and over towards the Milwaukee area. Reinforcing bands continue, and then by the time we get into Thursday morning, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, we'll start to see conditions improving across southern Wisconsin. This snow will be a dry, fluffy snow, not very windy, so that's good news. So the blowing and drifting will be minimized. That lake effect snow, if you're heading off towards Milwaukee, will add a couple of inches, and we have more alert days in the future, as well as Sarah was mentioning. Friday going into Saturday, accumulating snow across all of southern Wisconsin. This future track I want to emphasize is for Friday afternoon. Snow breaking out across the center part of the area, Madison, Dells, and areas to the west. Widespread snow going into the 10 o'clock newscast Friday evening. Likely going to see a couple of inches of accumulation, maybe very similar amounts to what we are seeing with Wednesday's event in that 3, 4, 5 inch range, maybe an isolated 6 inch amount. Coming up at 10, I'm going to give you a peek into Sunday and Monday. Bitterly cold wind chills to minus 25. But at 10, I will show you some of those wind chill values at your individual community level. Tonight, cloudy skies ahead of that weather system as temperatures fall down through the teens into the lower teens. And again, we'll talk more about the alert day conditions for Sunday and Monday coming up at 10.
All right, thank you, Alex, for preparing us. And how about this? You can't be prepared for this. A 22-year-old Wisconsin woman has made the catch of a lifetime. Haley Herzig has been sturgeon spearing for 6 years. Look at it. She didn't expect her first harvest to look like this. It's a whopping 180.5 pounds and more than 79 inches long. And as you can see, bigger than she is. That's so cute. The DNR says this is the 4th largest fish speared on the Winnebago system.
Started pulling it up and we saw the size of it, and that's when we kind of got a little panicky. When they pulled it up on the scale and the weight popped up on the screen, I was in disbelief.
She's so chill about it. I love it. The largest ever on Lake Winnebago was speared back in 2010, weighed 212 pounds. Haley says her sturgeon is buried in snow in their backyard to preserve it before she can fillet for some tasty meals.
And coming up in sports, the Badgers are playing the waiting game, while Greg Gard says they won't be resting this week. That's next on News 3 Now. After beating Iowa to claim the season sweep over the weekend, Greg Gard's squad has to wait a bit for their next game. Actually, they have to wait a while. Wisconsin doesn't play Purdue until Saturday. Quick math, that's a week between games. Not ideal for a team who's on a roll right now, but don't worry, the Badgers aren't going to take it easy this week.
We aren't relaxing. This isn't a time to take a breath. You have to continue to get better. You continue to find ways to sharpen us individually and collectively. So we got a lot of season left, and it's the competitiveness that I don't want them to, they can't dial that back, right? It was really good today. We ain't going back.
Speaking of Badger hoops, be sure to check out this week's Wisconsin Huddle with John Blackwell on Friday at 6:30. Show is, you can see it, I guess I'm trying to say, right here on News 3 Now. Well, when it comes to Ohio State, they're a definite thorn in Mike Hastings' side. Wisconsin got swept by them at home back in their Big Ten opener 4 months ago. But this is a little deeper than that. The Buckeyes have won 6 of their last 7 meetings in this series, and after a rough couple of weekends, this group doesn't need much motivation heading into Columbus.
You know what, they're not happy with how we played this weekend. You go back to the last 2 weekends, so there's motivation that way. And yes, it's this building last year, we went and played them late in that building, and they took 2 of them. And so it's a focus group.
Definitely on our mind. They've had our number even when I wasn't here, so we definitely use that as motivation, and we just need to play our game though and worry about ourselves, and we'll be good.
And the Wisconsin women are off this weekend, but a trio of Badgers were honored for their performances against Minnesota. Ava McNaughton was named the WCHA Goaltender of the Week. Vivian Jungles took home the league's Defender of the Week, and Casey O'Brien was tabbed the conference's Forward of the Week.
And it'll be tough for athletes to travel, I imagine, these next couple of days with the storm.
Keep an eye on the forecast. We've got a couple of snowstorms on the way, or snow events, I should say, on the way. One is tomorrow, which we've been talking about for days, and we've also been talking about the Friday, Saturday potential snow since late last week. Widespread 3 to 6 inches expected across southern Wisconsin tomorrow. It will be an impactful day, a tough go of driving, especially for areas from, let's say, Richland Center to the Dells and off towards the south and east, with the highest amounts in far southwest Wisconsin. You could sneak 6 inches or a little bit more, and more towards the lake, over towards Milwaukee, where you get a little bit of that lake effect, 6 to 9 inches. That's where they have winter storm warnings. The winter storm warnings in southwestern Wisconsin, the rest of the WISC viewing area under a winter weather advisory through 3 a.m. on Thursday. And at 10, we talk about the bitterly cold weather following the Friday, Saturday snow.
It is February.
It is, yes.
Thank you, Alex. And thanks so much for joining us, everyone.